So now today we've come to chapter 37 on page 757. Srngara-rasa-vicara, Srngara-svarupa and Vipralambha. Vijay Kumar relished the aspects of Madhurya Bhav that he had heard the previous day, and he was still in this mood when he again presented himself before Sri Gurudev. What we heard the last few days from chapter 36 was phenomenal. So many different aspects. We heard about Chitra Jalpa, we heard about the Abhiyog and the Swabhav, Nishag. We heard so many remarkable. We heard about Madan and Mohan, and we heard about the Rudha and Adi-Rudha, these stages. So such a weight of knowledge that we received, and now we want to realize that by appreciating it more significantly. That means becoming more familiar with it and practicing our sadhana bhajan more diligently to bring it to light, to bring it to life within our hearts. If it's not in the heart, then it's an external display only. We discussed that about Nishag and Swabhav. So it takes time. But I was thinking that because we've already been through from chapter 1 in the last 14, 15 months from chapter 1, so we have some platform, some eligibility, some adhikar to hear these truths on top. Don't think you're entirely unqualified if you've come through these previous chapters. In this mood, when he again presented himself before Sri Gurudev, he offered pranam and inquired from him submissively, Prabhu, I have understood that Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvika Bhav and Vyabhachari Bhav, and also the Swarup of Sthai Bhav. However, although I have combined these 4 kinds of ingredients with Sthai Bhav, I still cannot awaken rasa. Why is this? Goswami, dear Vijay, you will not be able to awaken ras in Sthai Bhav until you have become conversant with the Swarup, intrinsic nature of Srngara-rasa. Vijay, what is Srngara-rasa? Goswami, Srngara is the super excellent and profuse transcendental charm of Madhurya Ras. There are 2 kinds of Srngara, Vipralambha, love and separation, and Sambhog, meeting and performing joyful transcendental pastimes together. Vijay, I would like to know the characteristics of Vipralambha. Goswami, Vipralambha is the delightful emotion that manifests when the Nayak and Nayakas cannot fulfill their cherished and delightful longing for pastimes, such as embracing and kissing each other. Vipralambha can occur in any state, either during meeting, milan, or separation. So that's like framed by Chitya. And it especially nourishes the mood of Sambhog. Without Vipralambha, the meeting has no current to it, there's no eagerness. So the Vipralambha creates that eagerness. Vipralambha is also called Viraha or Viyog. Vijay, how does Vipralambha nourish the mood of Sambhog? Goswami, dipping a colored cloth repeatedly in the same dye increasingly enhances the brilliance of the color. Similarly, Vipralambha enhances the super excellent brilliance of Sambhog Ras. So that constant separation increases the depth of the union. Just like when you dye something and you put it in once and it comes up a certain color, and you put it in again, it comes deeper, and you keep on going, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. That's, if you've dyed cloth, that's how it works. So by dipping into the Vipralambha, then it becomes deeper in Sambhog. Similarly, Vipralambha enhances the super excellent brilliance of Sambhog Ras. Sambhog cannot develop fully without Vipralambha. You have these two sides constantly. Vijay, how many different types of Vipralambha are there? Goswami, there are 4 types: Purvarag, Man, Prem Vachitya, and Pravas. So we should understand in Venugit, for example, these are all examples of Purvarag. Purvarag means anticipation, but we'll read. Vijay, what is Purvarag? Goswami, Purvarag is the fascination and enchantment that arises when the Nayak and Nayika see each other and hear about each other before they actually meet. That anticipation of union. Vijay, what are the different ways of seeing each other? Goswami, the Nayaka may see Krishna directly in person, see his form in a picture, or see him in dreams. Vijay, and what are the different ways of hearing about each other? Goswami, one may hear someone reciting the Nayak's stutis and glorification, hear about him from the lips of Sakhis and messengers, duties, and listen to songs praising him. Vijay, what causes the appearance of this rati? Goswami, when I explained Staibhav before, I mentioned that the appearance of rati is caused by abhiyog, vishaya, sambandha, abhiman, and so on. This is what we discussed at the beginning of the last chapter. These are also the causes of rati appearing in Purvarag. Vijay, does this Purvarag manifest first in the Brajnayak or the Brajnayikas? Goswami, there are many considerations here. In mundane affairs, the man generally initiates the longing for mutual attraction, because women are usually more shy than men. However, since women also have more prem, Purvarag manifests first in the doe-eyed gopis. It may not be overt, it may be internal, their feeling, their expression, but Krishna will see somehow. The Bhakti Shastras state that Purvarag manifests first in the Bhakta, and Sri Krishna reciprocates accordingly. The Brajadevis are the topmost of all Bhaktas, so Purvarag manifests perfectly in them first. And we see in Rupa Goswami's Vidagdhamata, this is exactly how it is. It's Radhika who becomes attracted to Krishna. And it's the potency of that attraction to Krishna that attracts Krishna himself. Otherwise, he doesn't notice Radhika. But then he notices her because of her immense attraction for him. This is how Rupa Goswami describes it, Vidagdhamata. There is an ancient adage in regard to this trait of human nature. The woman feels attraction first, and the man responds to her gesture. However, there is no fault in reversing the above order, if the intensity of prem is the same in both of them. Vijay, please explain the Sanchari Bhavs of Purvarag. Goswami, disease, doubt, jealousy, exertion, fatigue, depression, eagerness, humility, anxiety, sleep, awakening, dejection, inertia, madness, bewilderment, and longing for death are all Sanchari or Vyabhachari Bhavs. So we've already been through the 33 different Vyabhachari Bhavs, and these are some specifically manifesting in Purvarag. Vijay, how many different types of Purvarag are there? Goswami, there are three types: Prodha, fully matured; Samanjasa, intermediate; and Sadharana, general. Vijay, what is Prodha, fully matured, Purvarag? Goswami, Purvarag is Prodha when it occurs in those possessed of Samartha Rati. On this level of Purvarag, the 10 dashas states, beginning from intense longing, lalas, up to the desire for death, marna, can manifest. Since this Purvarag is Prodha, fully matured, the states that manifest in it are also Prodha. Vijay, what are the 10 dashas states? Goswami, they are as follows: Lalasodvega, Jagaryas, Tanavam, Jadimatratu, Vaiyagrayam, Vyadya, Unmado, Moha, Mrityu, Das, Ujjvala Vilamani, Purvarag, Division 9. The 10 states of intense longing, lalas, anxiety; udveg, sleeplessness; jagarana, emaciation; tanava, inertia; jadata, impatience; vyagrata, illness; vyadi, madness; unmada, delusion; moha, and longing for death, mrityu. Vijay, what is lalasa? Goswami, lalasa is the intense longing to attain one's heartfelt desire, abhista, and the symptoms are eagerness, fickleness, reeling, and heavy breathing. Vijay, what is udveg? Goswami, udveg is perturbation of the mind, and it manifests itself through symptoms such as deep, heavy breathing, fickleness, motionlessness, thoughtfulness, tears, change of bodily color, and perspiration. Vijay, what is jagarana? Goswami, jagarana is sleeplessness, and it gives rise to motionlessness and dryness of the senses. Vijay, all of these, when we read the Ujjvala Nilamani, there are examples given of all these different stages. For example, this Jagarya, it's called Jagarya in Ujjvala Nilamani. The inability to sleep is called Jagarya. Becoming stunned, drying up, and disease are some of the symptoms caused by Jagarya. And there's an example here. Radharani addresses Vishaka. My friend, sleep momentarily showed me a certain dark complexioned person dressed in splendid yellow garments, and then at once left as if angered. Oh, my friend Vishaka, I am now filled with anxiety. Please convince this sleep to return to me. No one except her has the power to capture the thief who has stolen my sleep. So there's many examples all the way through. It's nice when we read this, then we parallel it with the Ujjvala Nilamani. But we can do that by ourselves, I think. Vijay, what is jadata, inertia? Goswami, oh, I missed one out. Tanava. Vijay, what is tanava? Goswami, tanava is leanness of the body, and it is accompanied by symptoms such as bodily weakness and reeling of the mind. Some people read vilap, lamentation, in place of tanava. Vijay, What is jadata, inertia? Goswami, jadata is shown by the absence of discrimination, by not responding even when asked something, and by the loss of ability to see and hear. It is also known as jadima. Vijay, what is vyagrata, impatience? Goswami, the condition in which the transformations resulting from bhav do not manifest externally is called gravity. Vyagrata is the state in which this gravity is agitated and becomes intolerable. The symptoms of vyagrata are discrimination, despondency, regret, and jealousy. Vijay, what is vyadi? Goswami, when one becomes acutely disappointed because one has not attained one's cherished goal, abhista, namely one's beloved, the resultant state has symptoms such as becoming pale and developing a high fever. This is called vyadi, and it gives rise to anubhavs, such as cold and shivering, desire, delusion, deep, long breathing, and falling unconscious on the ground. Vijay, what is unmad, madness? These are all the symptoms and anubhavs we're describing of Purvarag. We're still in Purvarag, describing the different degrees here. Vijay, what is unmad, madness? Goswami, unmad is the condition in which the Nayika always mistakenly perceives her beloved in different objects everywhere. For example, taking a tamal tree to be Krishna and embracing it. Still there, everybody? Okay. Unmad is the condition. If somebody can just confirm to me that everything's still on track. Is anyone listening? They can just type a message saying that they're hearing. Don't all do it at once. Okay. So, okay, on track. Thank you. So we're describing call Avadut Maharaj and tell him I'm on the line, or text him something. Goswami.
Giving time and just calling before that is
Call him?
Yeah.
Unmad is the condition in which the Nayika always mistakenly perceives her beloved in different objects. Go outside and talk to him. You finished? Okay. Start again. Sorry, interruptions today. It's a busy day today. We flew from Delhi to Bhubaneswar and somehow became busy. Unmad is the condition in which the Nayika always mistakenly perceives her beloved in different objects everywhere. For example, taking a tamal tree to be Krishna and embracing it. It is the result of intense absorption of the mind in constant thoughts of one's beloved and of being overwhelmed by bhavs such as despondency, dejection, and humility. Its anubhavs are aversion, making jealous remarks to one's beloved, long breathing, not blinking the eyes, and feeling extreme pangs of separation. Vijay, what is moha? Goswami, moha means to become unconscious, and its anubhavs are becoming motionless, falling unconscious, and so on. Vijay, what is mrityu? Longing for death. Goswami, when the Nayaka is unable to meet with her Kanta beloved, even though she employs all means, such as sending love letters and messages through Sakhis. Cupid's arrows cause such unbearable, intense pangs of separation that she strives for death. In this state, she gives away her cherished belongings to her Sakhis. Udipan vibhavs, such as bees, a mild breeze, moonlight, kadamba trees, clouds, lightning, and peacocks stimulate the development of this state of mrityu. That's very powerful. Vijay, what is Samanjasa Purvarag? Kindly explain. Goswami, Samanjasa Purvarag is the Purvarag that appears prior to meeting, and it is the specific characteristic of Samanjasa Rati. In this condition, the Nayaka can gradually manifest the 10 conditions, namely longing, abhilas, contemplation, chinta, remembrance, smriti, glorifying the qualities of the lover, guna kirtan, agitation and anxiety, udveg, lamentation, vilap, madness, unmad, illness, vyadi, inertia, jadata, and longing for death, mrityu. So now these are the bhavs in Samanjasa Purvarag. Vijay, what is the meaning of abhilas in this context? Goswami, abhilas refers to the endeavors made to meet one's beloved, and its anubhavs are decorating one's body, approaching the beloved on the pretext of doing something else, and displaying one's attraction, anurag, towards him. Vijay, what is the nature of chinta here? Goswami, chinta is meditation on how to achieve association with one's lover, such as informing him of one's condition through a brahmana, or sending a letter. Its symptoms are tossing and turning in bed, long, deep breathing, and gazing. Vijay, what is meant by smriti here? Goswami, smriti is deep absorption in thoughts of the beloved, whose association has been experienced by seeing him and hearing about him, and his beauty, his ornaments, his pastimes, and his various blissful dealings, and everything related to him. Its anubhavs are trembling, fatigue, change in bodily color, tears, detachment, and renunciation, and deep breathing. Vijay, what is guna kirtan? Goswami, guna kirtan is the glorification of the Nayaka's qualities, such as his form and beauty, and its anubhavs include trembling, horripilation, and choking of the voice, anxiety, lamentation, accompanied by madness, illness, inertia, and longing for death. These 6 symptoms are manifest in Samanjasa Purvarag to the same extent that they are in Samanjasa Rati. So we have Samanjasa Rati and we have the Samanjasa Purvarag. Quite different. The Samanjasa Rati is the Rati of the queens of Dwarka, and the Samanjasa Purvarag is a description of a lower mood of Purvarag than the Proda that was previously described. Now please explain the symptoms of Sadharana Purvarag. So we're going from the deepest in Proda, and then Samanjasa, and now we're going to the least intense. Sadharana Purvarag is exactly like Sadharani Rati. So Sadharani Rati was the Rati of Kubja. In this condition, The first 6 stages, dashas, up to lamentation, vilap, appear in a mild way. I do not feel the need to give examples here because they are very simple. In this type of purvarag, the lover and beloved exchange love letters, karma lekha, patra, garlands and so on, through confidential companions. Vijay, what are karma lekha patra, love letters? Goswami, love letters are expressions of mutual loving sentiments in writing. There are 2 kinds, sakshara, those written with letters or inscriptions of the alphabet, and nirakshara, those written without using letters. Vijay, what are nirakshara karma lekha? Goswami, an example of a symbolic love letter is a half-moon shaped impression made with a nail on a red-colored leaf without any other mark or letter on it. Very beautiful. Says a lot, even though it's no letters. Symbolic. Vijay, what are sakshara karma lekha? Written love letters. Goswami, written love letters are letters exchanged between the nayak and nayika that have been written in their own handwriting, expressing their heartfelt emotional state in natural language. These love letters are written with colored inks, which are obtained either from minerals from the mountains, by squeezing red flowers, or from kumkum powder. Large flower petals are used instead of paper for writing on, and the letters are tied with fibers from the stalks of lotuses. All of these things, by the way, are brought out in Vidagdha Madhav. Through Vidagdha Madhav, all of these descriptions are there. And once we have these indications of the nature of this bhakti ras in this form, we can go more deeply into the leelas once we have this in the background. That's the result. Vijay, what is the gradual development of purvarag? Goswami, some say that affection is aroused at first simply by seeing one's beloved. This is followed by contemplation, attachment, making a vow, desire for meeting, sleeplessness, emaciation, distaste for everything else, loss of shyness, madness, falling unconscious, and longing for death, in that order. So we're getting an impression that these states of rag are aprakat, not prakat, not from this world. Such is the extension of the intensity of calm, prem. Purvarag manifests both in the nayak and in the nayikas, but it appears in the nayikas first and then in the nayak. Vijay, what is man? Goswami, man is the bhav that prevents the nayak and the nayika from engaging in their cherished activities of embracing, looking at each other, kissing, talking in a pleasing way, and so forth, even though they are both in the same place and they share a deep attachment for each other. Man causes the appearance of sanchari bhavs, such as despondency, doubt, anger, restlessness, pride, jealousy, concealing the sentiments, guilt, and serious thoughtfulness. Vijay, what is the underlying principle of man? Goswami, the basis of man is pranaya. Man does not normally arise prior to the stage of pranaya, and even if it does, it is only in a contracted or unripe state. There are 2 types of man: man with a cause, sahetu, and man without a cause, nirhetu. Vijay, What is man with a cause, sahetu man? Goswami, Rishya, jealous feelings rise in the heart of the Nayaka when she sees or hears about the Nayak behaving with special affection for a Nayaka from the rival Vipaksh or marginal Tatashta groups. When this Rishya jealousy becomes overwhelmed by pranaya, it develops into sahetu man. It has long been held that, just as there is no bhaya, fear, without sneha, similarly there can be no rishya without pranaya. In this way, all these various expressions of man only illuminate the intensity of the prem between the Nayakas and the Nayak. That's a beautiful last sentence. In this way, all these various expressions of man only illuminate the intensity of the prem between the Nayaka and the Nayak. So this man is when Krishna has to work. It's his service that he has to pacify this man in the hearts of the Sakhis when it develops. Krishna occasionally goes in man, but not so much. The Nayaka's heart is imbued with bhavs, such as intense loving possessiveness for her beloved, Susakya. When she sees the Nayaka, who is exceedingly attached to her, favouring a rival Nayaka and sporting with her, she becomes restless and impatient. Once in Dwarka, Sri Krishna presented a parijat flower to Sri Rukmini. However, although all the queens heard about this incident, only Satyabhama's heart was overpowered by man. Satyabhama's man was aroused when she understood the unique position afforded to her rival. Vijay, how many ways are there of discovering the special position of rivals? Vipaksh Vaishishtya. Goswami, there are 3 ways: hearing, Shruta, inference, Anumati, and seeing, Dristya, Drista. Vijay, what is hearing, Shruta? Goswami, Shruta Vipaksh Vaishishtya comes about when the Nayaka hears from the Priya Sakhi or from a parrot about the pastimes of her beloved with a Nayaka from the opposing party. So all of these topics are about man. Vijay, what is Anumati Vipaksh Vaishishtya? Goswami, Anumati Vipaksh Vaishishtya occurs when the Nayak sees that the body of her lover bears evidence of amorous pastimes with another Nayaka. When she hears her lover inadvertently say the name of a rival Nayaka, or when she sees her rival Nayaka in a dream, the marks of union seen on the bodies of the Nayak and the rival Nayaka are called Boganka. And speaking the name of the rival Nayaka is called Gotra Sankalana. When this occurs, the Nayaka feels that it is more painful than death. Vijay, I would like to hear an example of Gotra Skalana. Goswami, once when Krishna was returning to his home after spending time with Srimati Radha, he suddenly met with Chandravali. Sri Krishna inquired from her, "O Radhe, is everything fine with you?" When Chandravali heard Krishna speaking like this, she replied, rather angrily, "O Kamsa, are you well?" Krishna was surprised and asked her, "O beautiful one, why are you so bewildered?" Chandravali became flushed with anger and promptly replied, "Where have you seen Radha around here?" Then Krishna understood the situation and thought to himself, "Oh, I have addressed Chandravali as Radha by mistake." Understanding his own mistake, he felt ashamed and lowered his face. He was also smiling mildly to see Chandravali's spontaneous and cunning eloquence, which resulted from her arisya, her jealousy. May this Hari, who dispels all miseries, protect us all. Vijay. What is understanding the particular position of arrival through a dream? Svapna Drista Vipaksh Vaishishtya. Goswami. The activities of Krishna and his Vidusaka friends while dreaming are examples of this. For example, on one occasion, Krishna and Chandravali were sleeping on the same bed after amorous pastimes in the Krida Kunj. While dreaming, Krishna said, "O Radhe, I promise you that you alone are my most beloved. Only you are inside and outside my heart. Only you are in front of me and behind me and everywhere. What more can I say? Only you are present in my house, in Govardhan, and in the forested valleys." When Chandravali heard Sri Krishna speaking like this in his dream, she got up from the bed due to man arising in her heart and walked away. Now hear of one of Madhumangal's dreams. Once he was sleeping on a raised platform outside a kunj in which Krishna and Chandravali were engaged in happy pastimes. And in his dream he said, "O Madhavi, Krishna is talking very expertly and flattering Padmasakhi Chandravali just to deceive her. Try to bring Radha here quickly so that she can meet with Krishna. Don't worry." When Chandravali heard Madhumangal speaking like this in his dream, she became distressed. At that time, Padma was sitting in a nearby kunj, and when she saw Chandravali's condition, she said to Saiva, "O Sakhi, just see how miserable Chandravali's face has become since she heard Madhumangal talking in his dream. She has lowered her head and is burning with grief." So those are a couple of examples. Vijay. What is directly seeing? Darshan. Goswami. This means that the Nayika directly sees her Nayak engaged in pastimes with another Nayak. Vijay. What is causeless man? Nirhetuka man. Goswami. Causeless man develops when the Nayika and Nayika, between the Nayika and Nayika, when pranaya is enhanced by the apparent cause for man. Although there is no cause for man in reality, Pandits have concluded that man is the effect of pranaya, and that causeless man is nothing but an extension of pranaya arising from its vilas, joyful pastimes. They call this causeless man pranaya man. The previous authorities, Pandits, also maintain that the movements and dealings of prem are crooked, like the movement of a snake. Therefore, two kinds of man are evident in the dealings between the Nayika and the Nayika. Man with a cause, nirhetu, and man without a cause, nirhetu, and man with a cause, sahetu. The Vyabhachari bhav in this ras is concealing one's emotions and feelings, abhahita. Vijay. How is causeless man pacified? Goswami. This man is pacified by itself. It does not need any remedial measures. When laughter occurs, when the man disappears automatically, however, when laughter occurs, then the man disappears automatically. However, to pacify sahetu man, the Nayak has to adopt many appropriate means, such as sama, consoling words, beda, diplomatic remarks, kriya, taking an oath, dan, presentations, nati, bowing down, upeksha, neglect and apparent indifference, and rasantra, a sudden change of mood. The sign of the Nayak's man has been pacified, the sign that the Nayak's man has been pacified is that the Nayak wipes away her tears and there is laughter and so on. Vijay. What is sama? Consolation with words. Goswami. Sama is the use of sweet, pleasing words and promises to pacify Priya, the beloved. Vijay. What is bade, diplomatic remarks? Goswami, there are two types of bade. One is expressing one's greatness by various gestures and insinuations, and the other is rebuking the Nayaka indirectly through sakis. Vijay, what is meant by dan, presentation? Goswami, dan is the deceitful presentation of ornaments and other gifts. Vijay, what is nati, humble submission? Goswami, nati means to fall at the Nayaka's feet with all possible humility. Vijay, what is upeksha, neglect? Goswami, upeksha, neglect or indifference is the mood of apparently abandoning the Nayak when all other means of pacifying her mind have proved fruitless. Others say that upeksha refers to using remarks with double meaning to please the Nayak. What does the expression rasantara, change of thoughts mean? Goswami, rasantara is the sudden creation of fear in the Nayak's mind by words or by some natural occurrence. There are two types of rasantara, that which occurs by itself and that which is created by the sharp intelligence of the Nayaka. Here is an example of a change of mind that takes place spontaneously. Once Krishna was unable to pacify Bhadra's mind despite various endeavors. Suddenly there was a tremendous sound of thunder which frightened Bhadra so much that she at once embraced Krishna, who was sitting in front of her. Here is an example of pacifying man by an intelligent plan. Once Radhika was deeply absorbed in man, Krishna, who is supremely playful by nature, saw that he could not pacify her by any means, so he played a charming trick. He personally made a beautiful flower garland and placed it round the neck of Srimati Ji. She angrily took the garland off her neck and threw it away, and by the will of Providence it fell on Krishna. He immediately screwed up his eyes, made a face as if he'd been badly injured, and sat in one corner looking very depressed. Seeing this, Radhaji became restless and anxious, and she held Krishna's shoulders with her two hands. Then Krishna laughed and enfolded her with a strong embrace. So I'm going to stop now, because I think we've read a lot today. I just read directly. I haven't spoken anything. I've just read these remarkable descriptions of Man and Purvarag for our deliberation. So I'll continue tomorrow. And hopefully we've almost finished the chapter. And hopefully the Facebook will be on again tomorrow. So thank you all for your attention. And this subject matter really needs to be obviously meditated on deeply over many years, and to absorb, become familiar with the moods and the environment of the Vrindavan pastimes in connection with all these different descriptions. There's so much there, there's so much that's going on. It's an enormous amount. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us it in short, summary forms, but it should be fluffed out gradually over years or lifetimes. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Jaiva Dharma ki jai. Go Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So we've been discussing in this chapter 4 types of separation. We discussed yesterday Purvarag, astonishing revelation from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And we've discussed yesterday, we started Man. And today we're going to finish Man and do Prem Vaititya and Pravas, these 4 types of separation. So Vijay on page 769 today. Vijay, are there any other means to pacify Man So we understand man is that mood of contrariness to its extremity. When Sri Radhika, she rebuffs Krishna for Krishna's benefit, because Krishna then has to respond so much more deeply than he was previously demonstrating his attraction and affection. He's got to go deeper to actually pacify her mind. So this is principally giving the opportunity of Krishna for seva. Krishna now can perform seva to Radhika, and he goes to all kinds of different lengths to do this, because seva is the sweetness. Shakti Tattva automatically is doing seva by nature, but the Vishaya Tattva is not by nature serving, it's independent. Swatantrata and Svaichamayata, these independent and free will, that's the nature of the independent Lord. But Shakti Tattva is fully dependent on the Shaktiman, and she's serving. So Krishna is allowed to take that mood, because we discussed before that Radhika, because of her mood of service, it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, tastes 10 million times more sweetness and bliss in the relationship. Krishna is the recipient of the relationship, and he can taste what the object is due. The object is due to a certain amount of bliss by receiving the sweetness of the seva, but the sevak herself gets even more sweetness and bliss. We have to understand this very deeply, because all of the backbone of this basically is understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his reasons for Advent, etc. This is all the backbone of this Bhakti Ras. It's all in the same package that we have to really open out and go deep into constantly. The way to actually practice it is to be regularly hearing these topics, because especially this Rasa Tattva, it's not something, even as devotees, that we're familiar to hearing. I'm reading all these different names, these different aspects of Bhav, and so many different types of heroines, and so on. And perhaps for some of us, some people have told me, this is the first time they're hearing these. So we've heard the principles of Bhagavad Gita, we've heard the principles of the 9 cantos excessively, but now this is an entire new topic, and it's so inspiring, especially for an older devotee who hasn't walked into this kingdom of Braj, because all of a sudden they get the opportunity to open up a whole new horizon of consideration and contemplation. But it's based on the premise of what we've already studied. And I said yesterday that because we've studied all the way up to this chapter 37, we haven't just jumped in here. We've carefully gone through over 18 months practically, every single chapter. So we have some type of fund, some platform has been made of what is pure devotee, pure devotion, pure Shuddha Bhakti. Some platform is already there. But now we're bringing it to another whole consideration and level, which will take either years or lifetimes to actually fully digest and appreciate. But if one is regularly hearing these topics, like Bhaktivinoda just said in that Falshruti, if one regularly hears with faithful deliberation these truths, then it will have an effect on the heart, undoubtedly. So Vijay, are there any other means to pacify man? Goswami, apart from these methods of man, of the Braj Gopis, apart from these methods, the man of the Braj Gopis, oh, didn't get my spectacles. Can you, on the top shelf there? Yes, beside my wallet, yeah. Thank you, thank you. I can read it, but not easily. Apart from these methods, the man of the Braj Gopis can be satisfied in special times and places. So every time Radhika goes into man, there's a special circumstance, there's a special type of man. Krishna has to brilliantly appreciate and understand that in order to pacify it and break it. Krishna has to, it's a real workout for Krishna. Really, he has to work very hard to do these things. And this is what gives him the greatest pleasure. So, apart from these methods, the man of the Braj Gopis can be pacified in special times and places, and with the sound of the murli, even though using sama and so on. Even without using sama. Sama means pacification, and so on. Mild man can be pacified without much effort, whereas pacifying moderate man requires careful efforts. The most deeply rooted man, Durjaya man, is extremely difficult to pacify. So these mans don't exist in Dwarka. This gives us another insight, a window into the nature, the distinction between Dwarka and Vrindavan. It's so important to understand the difference in these realms, because they're categorically distinct, as Mahaprabhu explains, especially in the 3rd and 4th chapters of Adilila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu Krishna is saying directly, I'm not attracted by awe and veneration. This love is made feeble, it's described, by these qualities of awe and veneration. But the spontaneous place in the heart, that's the potent place. The gopis use various remarks to chastise Krishna when they are in man. For example, Bhama, ungrateful one, who acts unfavorably. Durlila Siromani, crest jewel of mischief makers. Kitava Raj, king of cheaters. Kala Shrestha, supremely wicked. Mahadurta, extremely crooked ruffian. When Uddhav hears these, he just becomes so bewildered, because Krishna, for the Dwarkavasis, is all with awe and veneration. And even with Chandravali, to some degree. She also has some man, but very, very little. But Radhika and her gun, the Swapaksh, have so much opportunity. When we read Ujjvala Nilamani, there are so many examples, Shamali, so many different persons that Krishna has to pacify their man. It's not only Radhika. Katora, cruel and hard-hearted. Nilaj, shameless. Ati Durlalita, extremely hard to please. Gopi Kumukha, one who lusts after the gopis. Ramani Kaur, one who steals the chastity of the gopis. Gopi Dam Nashaka, one who spoils the religious principles and chastity of the gopis. Gopi Sadhavi Vidambaka. Gopa Sadhavi Vidambaka, one who mocks the chastity of the gopis. Kumuksha Ishvara, Kamukeshvara, Lord of lust. Gad Timira, one who puts others in the darkness of delusion. Shyan, one who has a very dark complexion, which puts others in the darkness of illusion. Vastrakor, one who steals the clothes of the gopis. Govardhan Upatyaka Tashkara, one who steals the chastity of the gopis in the hills of Govardhan. These are wonderful names that the gopis call Krishna. All very strong. So this is, Krishna has to pacify this. So all these descriptions we read yesterday are about man. So now we come to the 3rd type of separation, called Prem Vaichitya. Vijay, what is Prem Vaichitya? Goswami, Prem Vaichitya refers to heartfelt pangs of separation that the Nayika feels when even she is very close to the Nayak. And it is the intrinsic nature of Prem in its highest state. This super excellent feature results in a type of helplessness or agitation of mind that creates an illusion of being separate from Krishna, and this unnatural state is called Vaichitya. So this is when Radhika is with Krishna. Even we have the famous pastime of when she's sitting on Krishna's lap. Madhumangal comes and chases the bumblebee away and comes back and says, Madhusudan has gone away forever. Immediately Radharani goes into the most incredible state of this praying Vaichitya, and all the gopis are witnessing this. Krishna is witnessing this. And it's that particular example that inspires Krishna to leave for 100 years. Because then he sees their exalted stage in separation, even when he's here. Now, how must that stage be when he's not here? Simultaneously, Krishna has an agenda on the planet. He's come on the request of the Devas and Lord Brahma to, Yada Yada Hidan Masya Glani Bhavik Prityanaya Sadhunam Vinashaya to kill the demons, etc. This is why he's come. So he uses this understanding of the gopis' separation, this Prem Vaichitya. And there's a beautiful place, Prem Sarovar, which is just after Varshana, before you get to Sanket and before Nandagal. And there's a beautiful Kund, and this is exactly where that incredible pastime took place. So this is Prem Vaichitya, and it's classified as separation mood. So we have Purvarag, Man, and Prem Vaichitya. These are the first three. Now we have the fourth one, Pravas. Goswami. What is Vijay? What is Pravas? Goswami. Pravas is the obstruction or hindrance between the Nayak and the Nayika when they have been together and are now separated, either because they live in different countries or different villages, because of a difference in mood, rasantara, or because they are in different places. In Pravas, one experiences all the Vyabhachari bhavs of Srngara-rasa, except jubilation, pride, madness, and shyness. So there's a limitation there. There are two types of Pravas, that which is intentional and that which is not pre-planned, or which takes place by force of circumstance. Vijay, what is the intentional Pravas? Goswami. Intentional Pravas takes place when the Nayak goes away because of some obligation or responsibility. That's like when he goes to Dwarka, he goes to kill the battlefield of Kurukshetra, etc. By his very nature, Krishna is obliged to his bhaktas. For example, the moving and non-moving jivas of Vrindavan, the Pandavas, and Shrutadev of Matila. So these are all different personalities where he is obliged to go and perform his responsibility. Krishna demonstrates this responsibility himself, to give them full happiness and good instructions and to fulfill their desires. This is Krishna's Karunamayi Shakti, manifesting on the planet. He's come on the request of the Devas, but he also has his own agenda, which is manifesting after the advent of Krishna, which is in the form of Sachinandan Gaurahari. This is when he comes to actually access that highest bliss. Pravas has two further divisions. One is just going out of sight, and the other is going to some distant place, Sudura. There are three types of Sudura Pravas, corresponding to the three phases of time, past, present, and future. During Sudura Pravas, the Nayak and Nayika exchange messages. Vijay. So they're only exchanging messages, but they're not with each other. It's described by Jiva Goswami that when Krishna goes to Dwarka, goes to Mathura, he's away for 100 years. But the Brijvasis, who are suffering such profound separation at that time, they regularly send messages to Krishna, and they send him milk products, and they send him flowers, they send him all kinds of objects from Vrindavan constantly. To begin with, it's described by Jiva Goswami, it was just like one messenger a day. But then sometimes it got too many messengers a day. And when they understand that Krishna is facing some challenge, some big demon, they'll all fast for his benefit. Because their only mood is to serve and please Krishna. He's their baby, their child. And whatever he needs, they will do. So Jiva Goswami explains like this, so many messengers running up and down between Dwarka and Braj, or Mathura and Braj. So it's saying here, during Sudura Pravas, the Nayak and Nayika exchange messages. So also messages are going from the gopis to Krishna. Although it's described that when Krishna goes into this state of mohan, this highest stage, or not Krishna, sorry, Radhika goes into this stage of mohan, then Krishna is going to feel the impact of that emotion, even in Dwarka. If he's embracing Rukmini, he'll suddenly faint because he'll catch that emotion of Radhika that will come in his heart. Because Radhika is focusing on him. She's feeling that separation towards Krishna. Krishna is receiving that, feeling that. Vijay, what is unintentional pravas? Goswami, unintentional pravas is the Sudura pravas, caused by subordination to others or by circumstances that are beyond one's control. There are various types of subordination, classified as divya, adivya, and divya-divya. The 10 states that occur in this pravas are thoughtfulness, sleeplessness, anxiety, becoming thinner, darkening of the limbs and face, incoherent talk, illness, madness, bewilderment, and longing for death. In Vipralambha, caused by pravas, these 10 states manifest even in Krishna. So these states manifest in Krishna. When he goes to Dwarka, when he leaves, he's also experienced this Sudura pravas. So these are the 4 stages of separation. My dear Vijay, although various states appear as anubhavs in the different distinct types of prem, I have not mentioned them all. Generally, all of these states appear as the effect of the gradations of prem, beginning from sneha and developing through man, pranaya, rag, anurag, and bhav, up to mahabhav. When we say bhav, it infers mahabhav, but mahabhav is still not the supreme stage. There's Ruda and Adiruda. However, the stage of mohan, an unparalleled state, which I have already explained, manifests in Srimati Radhika. Yes, it's only in Radhika that that highest stage manifests, because she has the most attraction, most praying for Krishna. Some of the authors of Rasa-Shastra have accepted Vipralambha related to compassion, karuna, as a separate division, but I have not explained this ras separately because it is another type of pravas. As Vijay was contemplating Sri Guru Goswami's instructions on Vipralambha, he said to himself, Vipralambha ras is not an independent phenomenon. It is a self-perfected rasa. It simply promotes and nourishes the mood of sambhog. Without Vipralambha, sambhog will have no potency particular. Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj, he writes a very beautiful book called The Embankment of Separation. So this embankment is like the 2 banks of a river. One side of the river is meeting and the other side is separation. So we've discussed many times how meeting is 12 hours of the day and separation is 12 hours of the day, which is enhancing ultimately the ecstasy of the meeting. So without these 2 components, then this sambhog ras, it's saying here, for a jiva, where is it? It simply promotes and nourishes the mood of sambhog. Vipralambha ras is not an independent phenomenon. It's not just alone. It's not just something that happens by itself. Like man doesn't just happen by itself, it's designed for a purpose. All of it has purpose. So this Vipralambha Ras has a special, it's not an independent phenomena, or a self-perfected Ras. It's not independent, it's dependent on Sambhog. It simply promotes and nourishes the mood of Sambhog. Because, try to understand, in the spiritual kingdom, in Aprakat Lila, there is no separation ultimately, but there is a mood and conception of separation which will nourish the meeting. This is how it's been described. So we can appreciate that. For a jiva bound to worldliness, such pangs of separation, Vipralambha Ras, manifest in a special manner, and this is ultimately favorable for his pleasure in meeting Sambhog Ras. So this is a consideration of this material world. However, in the eternal transcendental Ras, the bhav of Vipralambha exists eternally to some extent. There's always that uncertainty that Krishna may disappear. So that increases the enthusiasm. We've described what is the quality of Raganuga Bhakti. What is the principal quality? It's greed. This is the quality. And my Gurudev speaks about this all the time. Without greed, then nothing will transpire. It's this greed, this hunger to actually enter these topics. Otherwise, nothing will transpire. However, in the eternal transcendental Ras, the bhav of Vipralambha exists eternally to some extent. In fact, the variegatedness of spiritual pastime cannot be evoked to its fullest possible degree without Vipralambha. So understand this deeply. Without Vipralambha, Sambhog will not develop to it. Krishna, he begins the Ras Leela. And then after a very brief time, he disappears. And then we have these beautiful chapters when the gopis are searching like a band of mad women through the forest for Krishna. They even become so demented that they're asking the trees, the deer, they're asking all the living entities, have you seen Krishna? Where is Krishna? They become, as described by Shukadeva Goswami, like a band of mad women. And then they even reach the pitch of bhav where they start to impersonate Krishna. Oh, I have killed Putana, you should glorify me. And then they go through all of Krishna's pastimes, remembering Krishna. But there's an interesting point here that my Gurudev points out, that when they're imitating those confrontations with the demons, and one of the gopis is acting as a demon, like Kaliya, etc., that Punamasi, she manifests separate gopis to become those acting demons. The gopis themselves can never act in a demonic way. They can never have that bhav. So Punamasi, she manifests other gopis that will manifest that bhav itself of the demoniac person. So we have one person watching Facebook. We've got a Facebook going today, by the way, but it hasn't been advertised particularly. What is your name? Aparesh Bush. Aparesh Bush. A-P-R-E-S-H B-O-S E. So if anyone wants to watch that afterwards, they can go to his his Facebook page and watch it on Facebook simultaneously. So now, thus ends the 37th chapter of Jaiva Dharma, entitled Srngara-rasa-vicara, Srngara-svarupa and Vipralambha. So we had the 4 stages of Vipralambha, this Purvarag, Man, Prem Vaitshitya and Prabhas. And these are going to correspond to the 4 stages of meeting. That's Shangshipta, Sankiran, Samamya, Samanya, and Swadhana Vedabhash. We'll come to it. It'll be described here very soon. These 4 stages. Samriddhiman Sambhog, yes. Sampana Sambhog. So we have Sankshipta,
Something.
Sankira, Sampana, and Samriddhiman. So in your notes you can write a list of the 4 separations, and then you can put them corresponding the list of the 4 meetings. So we still have 12 or so minutes. So I'll begin reading this chapter 38, which is very, very powerful. This chapter 38 is going to take us into the entire description of the Astakalya Lila, which is spoken by Vrindadevi and Lord Shivji to Narad. So this is what we're going to hear in this chapter. I think it must be a long chapter because there are so many verses. Yes, it's a long chapter. So many verses. Yes. So we'll make a beginning today. So chapter 38, Srngara-rasa-vicara. Vichar means consideration. The consideration of Srngara. It's already been established that Srngara-rasa is a personality, an entity alone, himself. And Mukhya Sambhog, the principal 4 sambhogs that I've just described, as Sankiran, Sankshipta, Sampana, and Samriddhiman. And the Astakalya Lila. That's what we have in store for us. So this previous chapter, 37, was quite brief, just describing these 4 types of separation. So if we're able to keep up with these different conceptions and ideas and the analyses, etc., we'll be doing very, very well. So Vijay Kumar, with folded hands, inquired from his Gurudev about Sambhog Ras. Sambhog. Sam means with, Bhog means enjoyment. So they're together in union, in great pleasure. Bhoga is what we offer to Krishna for his pleasure. So this Sambhog is the connecting 2 aspects. He replied affectionately, Goswami, there are 2 types of Krishna Leela, prakat, manifest, and aprakat, unmanifest. The states of separation, viraha, in Vipralambha Ras, that I've already described, correspond to prakat Leela. Now this is exactly what I just described before, that in aprakat Leela, this Vipralambha doesn't actually exist. The gopis don't actually have husbands. It's all conceptual. It's all that they're just thinking that for the sake of the parakya to arise. I have already described, the states of separation, viraha, in Vipralambha Ras, that I've already described correspond to prakat Leela. However, in aprakat Vrindavan, there is no separation for the Brajadevis from Sri Hari. They're his eternal Shaktis. This is why we should have no doubts that there's anything immoral, etc., about Krishna's pastimes, because they are eternally connected to him, all his Shaktis. In aprakat Vrindavan, there is no separation of the Brajadevis from Sri Hari, who is eternally engaged in his variegated blissful Leela, such as the Rasa Leela. And we understand the Rasa Leela includes, Krida Leela includes so many gambling pastimes, drinking, Madhu Leela, so many pastimes. It is written in the Mathura Mahatmya, Krishna plays eternally with the Gopas and Gopis there. Since the verb plays, Krida, is in the present tense, it is to be understood that Krishna's Leelas are eternal, eternally manifesting. Therefore, in the aprakat Leela of Golok or Vrindavan, there is no separation caused by Krishna's making his residence in a distant place, Dura Pravas. So we had Dura Pravas and we had Sudura Pravas, 2 types of Pravas. Love in union, Sambhog, exists eternally there. This eternal connection between Radha and Krishna. The Nayak and Nayakas are respectively the Vishaya, object, and Ashraya, abode of love. Krishna is the Vishaya and the Nayakas are the Ashraya. And the term Sambhog refers to the wonderful bhav that arises from the rapture of their loving dealings, such as seeing each other, talking together, and touching each other, the object of which is solely to give pleasure to each other. Even though Krishna is the Vishaya, he wants to give pleasure to the Ashraya, and the pleasures, the sole focus of the Ashraya is to give pleasure to the Vishaya. This is real love, when both is only concerned for the other person, whereas in this material world and conception, it's the opposite way around. Both are only concerned for their own pleasure, and we see that all the time. If somebody likes someone else, they like them for their own pleasure, because they are getting some pleasure from that relationship. And if that pleasure stops coming, then they have no more attraction for that object, that person. There are two types of Sambhog, Mukhya and Gona. Vijay. What is Mukhya Sambhog? Goswami. Mukhya, principal Sambhog, is the Sambhog that takes place in the awakened state. There are 4 kinds of Mukhya Sambhog in the awakened state. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is so brilliant here. He's condensing the entire Ujjvala Nilmani in really simple terminologies. We may not understand it immediately or appreciate it significantly straight away, but after hearing it for some period, and I would encourage you all to keep these topics on the boil in your various discussions with each other. If you communicate with each other, then you try to communicate about these topics. If we are discussing these things in smaller groups, we'll keep them fresh and alive. And I've experienced when I've stopped discussing these things and I've gone into a whole other topic, I completely forget about this topic. It has to be brought to the front of the consciousness to keep it alive. Otherwise it will... That's why this particular topic or these topics are not going to be manifest for such a long period of time. Mahaprabhu is opening the window, and right now it's open. Right now we can actually absorb ourselves in these. But in 300, 400, 500 years' time, these topics are not going to be so available. They're simply not. This is how my Gurudev has described it. Sambhog is the Sambhog that takes place in the awakened state. There are 4 kinds of Mukhya Sambhog. 1. Sankshipta Sambhog, brief Sambhog, because that brief Sambhog is some shyness. It's going to be described. And then there is, it's here, which takes place after Purvarag. So Purvarag, remember, was basically in anticipation. It's the anticipation meeting of Krishna. And this Purvarag comes out mostly in the Venu Geet, which is the first of the Geets, this Purvarag, this anticipating the meeting. So which takes place after Purvarag, that's Sankshipta. So you can write Sankshipta Sambhog, and then an arrow going to, or from Purvarag coming to Sankshipta. Either way. Sankiran Sambhog, restricted Sambhog, which takes place after man is pacified. So this is restricted because there's still some mood in the heart of the Nayaka that you've done wrong. You went to visit the opposing party. So she's declining that. Sorry, I'm sorry. I just had to decline that phone call. So she's still holding that feeling in her heart of reservation. Therefore, it's described as a restricted Sambhog. It's not flourishing. It's not fully. Which takes place after man is pacified. Sampanna Sambhog, enriched Sambhog. This is enriched, which takes place after the Nayak and Nayaka have been somewhat distant from each other for some time. So this is enriched by the jubilation of their meeting. That some time might just be a period of hours or even minutes, because time is not calculated entirely the same way as we calculate it now. Or it may be years, in the case when he goes to Dwarka. Somewhat, and the gopis see him in Kurukshetra. It's described when the gopis meet Krishna at Kurukshetra, they can hardly stand up, basically. And the residents of Dwarka are astonished because they actually see this exhibition of these anubhavs manifesting in the gopis. And then number 4, Samriddhiman Sambhog, flourishing Sambhog. This is the topmost, which takes place after being separated by a long distance. Now we're going to describe and unpack each of them. Vijay, please describe Sankshipta Sambhog in more detail. Goswami, Sankshipta Sambhog is characterized by reverence and shyness between the Nayak and Nayika as a result of expressions of their mutual love, such as kissing and embracing, are brief and hasty. Vijay, please explain Sankiran Sambhog. Goswami, in Sankiran Sambhog, the Nayikas' endeavor for amorous pastimes are expressed with simultaneous feelings of pain and pleasure. This is compared to the relish of chewing hot sugarcane. Although it is sweet, it also burns. So this is Sankiran Sambhog. This state results from her remembering that the Nayak deceived her, from seeing marks of amorous enjoyment on the Nayak's body, or from hearing from others about his amorous activities with other women. That's what I just described before. Vijay, what is Sampanna Sambhog? Goswami, Sampanna Sambhog takes place when the Nayak returns to be with the Nayika after being a short distance away. There are 2 types, Agati and Pradubhav. Agati is the appearance of the Nayak before the Nayika during the routine of general everyday life. For example, the gopis have darshan of Krishna regularly in the evening, when he returns from grazing the cows at the time of Goduli. Pradurbhav refers to Krishna's sudden appearance before the gopis when they are extremely overwhelmed by prema. An example of Sri Krishna's sudden appearance before the gopis when they were lamenting in separation because he had disappeared from the Ras Leela. In Pradurbhav, there is a festival of happiness arising from the fulfillment of one's cherished desires. Vijay, what is Samriddhiman Sambhog? Goswami, it is not possible for the Nayak and Nayikas to see each other and meet each other all the time, because they are subordinate to others and are bound by social etiquette. The profuse bliss that they experience when they meet suddenly after being released from the influence of external pressures is called Samriddhiman Sambhog. There are 2 types of Sambhog Ras, namely concealed Chana and manifest Prakash, but there is no need to explain them at present. So I think I'll stop here. It's a good place to stop, and we'll discuss Gona Sambhog on Monday. So tomorrow I won't be with you. And so today we've discussed Man a little bit, and Prem Vaitshitya, and the last one, which was Pravas. And now we've put down the 4 types of Sambhog: Sankshipta, Sankiran, Sampanna, and Samriddhiman. So this is what we've discussed today. So tomorrow we'll continue with the Gona Sambhog, and then we'll commence the description of the Astakalya Lila itself. So this is another just extraordinary chapter and gift from our beloved Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's remarkable what he's gifting us. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Jaiva Dharma ki jai.